Welcome to the B Team Podcast. I am your host, Josh Safran, with my co-host,
Matt Mars,
and our permanent guest,
Rob Nelson.
We're here every week to talk to you about all things Bentonville, bourbon, and business. The B Team Podcast. Be here. Welcome to the B Team Podcast. I am your host, Josh Safran, along with our permanent guest.
That's Bobby Nelson. That'd be me. Rob Nelson.
Wow. And our co-host,
Matt Mars.
And the OG sitting bedside today with his Michter's hat on.
Yeah, because I'm still recovering from the trip. I am not out of bed yet from September. What are you talking about? It was such a glorious trip.
Who got you that Michter's hat?
Yeah. But again, I had knee surgery replacement yesterday, and so that's why I am not in studio with you fine gentlemen, and Happy New Year.
How are you feeling?
How did the surgery go?
The surgery went well, no complications. I started my PT as soon as I came out of anesthesia. I've been doing my PT here at the house last night and today, and I go to physical PT next week in Centerton for 3 consecutive, Monday, Wednesday, Friday for the whole month of January. I feel good. I mean, I've had some organic medicine and some Western medicine.
What do you think of Matthew with the hoodie and the hat and the headphones? He looks like a gangster. He looks like he's about to do a hip-hop video.
Where have you been, Matt, since we saw you at the tequila event? Where have you been?
Well, I've been drinking tequila after that event.
We have.
Me too.
A little bit.
Yeah, I bought a bottle.
Well, you need to rename it the BTBB podcast.
Well, I dedicated a half a shelf at Bar Nelson for it.
Yeah, I almost brought tequila today, but instead I brought some dry fly.
Russ, what do you know about this brand? Because it looks like water with like a little bit of brown food coloring in there.
I've been offered to put some of my events, and it's been a hard pass because there's no body, character, style, or depth of character. There's nothing that we describe on our really fine bourbons during our tastings that there's there.
There's no stone for
what I usually describe.
So for the audience, I mean, we ask Matt, Rob, and myself to bring a bottle every time, and I brought something good for the last episode, and Matt, who has probably $25,000, $30,000 worth of bourbon at the house, brought in his $9 dry fly. That was gifted to him, which makes it even worse. Anything I'm not saying in truth in there?
No, I mean, I hadn't had it in a while, and I thought, you know what? We should give it a try. It says it's aged 3 years, and there was 3 of us because you weren't going to be here. So I thought, let's try it.
So you had the Pappy 15 in one hand and the dry fly in the other, and you go, you know what? 3 guys, 3 years. Let's bring in the dry fly.
Yeah, let's go there.
So do you know why they have to put the 3 years on there? Because to be a straight American bourbon whiskey, it must be aged for a minimum of 2 years in oak. If it's less than 4 years in oak, it's still a straight American whiskey, but you must declare an age statement, hence 3 years on dry fly.
They should try a 7. Let it sit a little longer.
So I think we should each try it, and then we can go to the makers.
I'm going to pass on that one because we tried it before, and it was dog piss. But you and I could share this one.
Yeah.
No offense, Matthew.
I think Matt's going to put you in the...
The nice thing is, Josh, he brings quality booze here.
This was quality.
I bring clean cups.
So what do you think of the dry fly?
I think it would be maybe a good whiskey to make old fashions with.
Or maybe not.
No, it'd be good for that.
Let's just say it has potential.
A lot of potential.
Well, Matt.
Because with 3 years in oak, it's not showing the promise yet to be a star just because of the lack of age.
Russ, what do you think of the one that Matt's going to pour? Do we show it to you on screen? This is this Maker's Mark.
Yeah, show that one. They have several new ones
very
out.
Good. So Josh was telling us that this was It was a special one they came out with. But I was reading, and it's a B release. But it's good.
Which fits with the B team.
Yeah.
It's the Heart release, the 2024.
Well, similar to what Elijah Craig does with their 12-year barrel proof, is they come out with their A, B, C, D, ballparkish, and different numerals and segues there. I'm having a hard time talking. What's that proof on that
So
one?
it's 112. And you're right.
Okay.
This says volume 1 of 5.
So it's interesting with that 112 with makers, because they've always been known to be in the 90s, right? And to come out with a really for them almost a barrel proof aspect, what other distilleries are doing, shows that they're really serious about getting into that higher proof game, barrel proof game right now. And it doesn't take away, because I love Maker's Mark is one of my top 10 brands that I love it. Just as we've talked about legacy. This is a legacy brand. People don't really associate Makers as a wheated bourbon like they do, obviously, Pappy and Weller. But this is a great representation of what a wheated bourbon is, with no rye characteristic in it at all.
Well, and you'd be shocked, Russ. All three of us actually like this, which, as you know, is very hard for this group. All three of us thought this was very tasty.
Yeah.
I think it's that wheat influence that softens it up and helps bring a lot of that rich wood.
It's 100% the best Makers I've ever had. I love it.
I tell you what, that's something right there.
Look, Russ, they even put the notes on the front.
Caramel, chocolate, and maple. It's doing your job for you, Russ.
But does it have any stone fruit, coconut, toffee?
Stewed banana.
Could be potential. You guys have your eyedroppers?
We don't.
Without you here, we're just kind of
we
flying
have
by the seat
nothing.
of our pants.
Those are a mess.
I got a little bit of cracked vanilla.
I got
in
pudding.
mine.
Little vanilla pudding.
That's really good with creme brulee right out of the oven, as we discussed before, with really fine bourbons. I wouldn't recommend it with the dry fly. I would just do vanilla ice cream.
Matthew's going to come over to your house tomorrow knowing that you're recovering. He's going to bring you the dry fly as a gift, and I told him to think better about that.
I mean, your drains need to be cleaned.
I've told everyone not to have any more, so we could save it for you.
We'll put in your locker at Barnell's.
Boy, what a great regift.
I'm thinking maybe a G plus at the gents.
Yeah,
That'll
I
be
can
a
think
G
of a few
minus.
people that we could give it to over there.
G minus.
Don't offer that to your new members, because they might turn around.
Maybe
and
for
go
the
out.
Sunday crowd.
Again,
Shout out to the Sunday crowd.
Shout out to
Here's
the
your
Sunday
dry fly.
Sorry, I had to go there.
All right, Russ.
it has
All right. So the reason we dragged you out of surgery, out of your bed today, because you are a key part of what we do here. We wanted to talk about our Louisville trip.
I have a question before
In
we get into
Bardstown.
that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like, I kind of like this
Sure.
setup. This is new for the viewers. We're all on these laptops, and sounds like next time I can't make it into studio, I'll just bring my laptop with me and phone in.
That's what I was worried about, that you would now have an excuse to stay home.
I'm loving this. Yeah.
This is great. Before you guys were doing your other show a minute ago, I go, this technology is phenomenal.
I'm with you, Russ. I think this should be a norm.
Before the pandemic, we couldn't have done this
If
before
you
the
don't come
pandemic.
in, who's gonna bring our glasses?
Oh, everyone has them at home.
Feels like he's bailing on us, Matthew. Who's gonna
He's
do
trying.
torchies?
I mean, I might be in Bimini or Key Largo.
Ooh, now you from Bimini,
That would be
that
awesome.
would be good.
Yeah. Calling in live from Helios.
And then,
Yep.
Rob, then you can do some fine aged rum from there.
That's right.
Dry Fly just came out with a 3-year rum. It's only in Bimini.
Yeah. Let's go.
Russ, but you're feeling good after the surgery. I want to hear about, we're talking about Louisville, and
Yeah.
we did a bourbon tour a few months back. We stayed at a house off-site, and we did, 3 days?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got in on Thursday, and distilled tour on
Friday, Saturday, and we flew
Friday
out Sunday morning.
Saturday. Yeah.
And it was my first time. You
My
guys.
second.
Okay.
Second time, yeah. That was your
Second
first time? I didn't
Yeah,
realize
it's my
that.
first.
What'd you think?
I thought it was amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think next time maybe we stay in Lexington.
Right downtown. I would stay right downtown.
So there was mixed reviews, mixed feedback on the beautiful house that we stayed in because it was about 10 minutes from downtown Louisville.
Yeah, I mean, there was nothing where you could leave the house and just walk to directly.
I told you about there was a bar across the street where the guy was bringing us in to have us some micro.
But that was for beer. We wanted bourbon.
yeah. The house was super cool.
The house was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we had a good time on there Saturday night.
We were worried about keeping the whiskey in my car
there was that.
because of the suspect neighborhood we were in
Little bit.
across the street.
And that, like, for me personally, I would stay downtown, plenty of distills where you go in there, get a tasting. Michter's is down there, a lot of big names down there. And then maybe spend a half a day out on a trail, pick maybe one or two places and come back. That's just me.
I would go to, we have the connection. I would, Buffalo Trace, get out to Frankfurt.
Shout out to Lisa.
And I would get out to Frankfurt, and we could do, do BT and then Wild Turkey.
Well, the first day we bounced around downtown Louisville, right? And the highlight had to be Michter's,
Yes.
right? But
100%.
That was 10 o'clock on. That was the first. That was our first tour, and so after that, everything was hard to
So
beat.
Bobby, so you introduced us to Michter's because
I did.
down in Bimini when you were hobnobbing with the
Nassau.
lifestyle of the
Nassau.
rich and famous.
Nassau. I was down in Nassau at my timeshare.
Shout out to Nassau.
And my timeshare.
And timeshares.
yeah,
yeah.
timeshares.
But you ended up getting us like a whole VIP excursion at Michter's.
Yeah, I mean, they rolled out the red carpet for us. I mean, it was amazing. And we were at Fort Nelson, their Fort Nelson location.
Can you share a little more? I mean,
Yeah, it was amazing. It's a boutique distill. They're doing it old school, no computers, all copper stills. Russ, correct me if I say anything wrong here. And I think in the next 2 or 3 years, they're going to be releasing their first few barrels from that actual distill. So it's going to be very, very special.
And then Rob, you have promised Josh and I some of the bottles from those first 2 barrels.
Well,
Right.
we're on the list.
From Fort Nelson to
Yeah.
Bar Nelson.
Yeah. We're trying to get on the list for that.
Here was my favorite part of that whole day, which I thought was hysterically funny. So everybody's going to all these places and they want the highly allocated stuff that it's impossible to find. And we were on this tour, and Rob dropped a name from the head distiller, and they're like, "Oh my God, you know this guy?" And we're like,
Well,
wow.
we were on. He put us on his.
I mean, it was
list.
amazing.
Yeah,
And
We were keeping it on the download.
yes,
I
but at the end
remember
of the tour, she's like, "What can we get you?" And everybody had a bottle that they all wanted. And she was, for like 15 minutes, there was this back and forth.
Yeah.
And she was, all right, well, let's go downstairs by the checkout. And there was probably 30, 40 people in the gift shop.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they roll in with these closed boxes. And everyone's like,
yeah, unmarked.
what's in the box?
Unmarked.
And they took care of us. They got us some stuff that we wanted that was not for sale in the gift shop.
Well, I mean, a little shout out here for Michael Brewer. He is the one who asked them for those. Like, they went so above and beyond for us. I was afraid to even ask for anything else. And then when they gave us a pick of the bottles, I mean, that just threw it over the top. Because then we had like a lunch after the tour.
Yep.
Not lunch, but a tasting up in their tasting room, which is extremely hard to even get a reservation up there.
But it was like you can go down there and anybody could pop in. I mean, the way that Michter's took care of us, I mean, that's the way you want to go to Louisville.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I knew why that was one of my favorite brands after going there.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Because everywhere else we went, we just walked in and we were just somebody else. And not that we were anybody
Right.
special, we just knew somebody there. Thank
Right.
you to you. But we went to Angel's Envy, which was cool.
Yeah.
But it didn't hold a candle to
Right.
what Michter's was.
No, we were on a VIP tour.
So what else was downtown? We saw Michter's. We saw
Angel's Envy.
We walked to Peerless. in the
Peerless.
rain.
Yeah, Peerless was
That
cool.
was cool because we got to meet the owner,
We got to meet the owner.
which is a vet.
Now, we didn't love the bourbon. That wasn't our favorite bourbon that we tasted.
I mean, look,
But the experience-
for what it was still great. The experience was great.
The owner had to be, a 60, 75-year-old guy that walked out,
Yeah.
right? And he was just hanging out with us.
Yep.
Right? And he
Like
was
one of the guys.
He was cool.
Yeah.
What?
No.
Do you remember the Patton
Tell us.
story?
Yeah.
Tell us.
His dad, his family, probably him now, has Patton's pearl-handled
Right.
pistols.
Yeah.
He shared that with us, that story,
Yeah.
as we're sitting there drinking bourbon.
But I tell you what, the brand has more potential than the dry fly.
I agree.
I would agree with that.
I'll
100%.
second that.
And I think we're going to start seeing more releases up here in NWA. And I'm a fan of the brand just because I can see it and feel it. Now that I've touched it, you understand that, wow, this is going to go somewhere eventually. It's small, but they're not sourcing. They're doing everything there. And I'm going to give that one. So we gave Michter's
Yep.
an A+. So I'm giving for myself. Don't tempt my answer with yours, but I'm going to give that an A.
I did like
The overall experience.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Most of the stuff we didn't love.
Because we met the owner. Because the owner
That's
was
right.
there. That's the owner gave the A.
The experience, and we talk about this all the time on the
Yeah.
on the podcast about experiences versus
Yep.
the actual output of what you're
Yep.
getting. The experience being Imperialist was cool. He was
Yeah.
he was speaking, and everyone was like, right. I mean, it was just one of those really cool, unique moments.
And
when
even
the owner
their
was talking.
the facility itself was pretty cool. The tasting room was super old and what's the word I'm looking for?
It's the old warehouse district. It's Whiskey Row. It's
Yep.
Whiskey
But remember,
Row.
we were also down there. It was also like hurricane. Remember, like how bad it was pouring rain.
Well, there was a hurricane that came out from the Gulf while
Correct.
we were there.
Because we wanted to go. What's the place we wanted to go to that was closed?
Remember that? That's the one that hit the
Yeah.
Carolinas.
Yeah.
But remember, there was a place we wanted to go to. There was a place we wanted to go to right across from Michter's that was
It was
closed.
Old Forester.
That's it. Old Forester was closed.
Yeah, they were closed.
Yeah.
What was the one that we walked in and walked out of? Because it was so busy. It was like Disneyland.
Evan Williams' Bourbon Experience was closed.
Yeah.
Russ, what was the one we kind of walked in, walked out of? It was so busy. It was like Disneyland. Was
Old
that
Forester.
okay? They opened up. Okay.
That was Old Forester.
And then we didn't
Yeah.
make it to Barrel. They were downtown, which I wish that's one of my favorites.
But Angel's Envy was cool because
Yeah.
some of the stuff
Angel's
that's happening
Envy
now,
was
the,
great.
the Triple Oak.
Yeah.
There was a couple of ones that we tried,
Yep.
and then we had the tasting with the group of the guys in the bachelor party.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah, that was fun.
They tried to steal Russ from us.
Yeah.
We were like, that's a hard no.
Yeah.
They wanted to pay me to ask the questions.
I mean, those guys were having a time of their life.
Yeah.
They were
This
on
is what I would
something,
say
weren't
to
they?
the
And they
viewers.
were.
Anyone who's thinking about going out there, book 2 or 3 tours max and do tastings the rest. Would be
Yeah.
my personal opinion.
Well, that,
And get
Well,
the
That
drivers.
driver for sure. That's
well,
a must.
The first day was we didn't drive anywhere. Everything was walking on Louisville.
Right.
I mean, but
Yep.
then the second day we went to Bardstown. That was a whole totally different experience,
Oh yeah.
right?
I mean, this is my favorite day of the two, but hanging out with you guys all the time was really the
It was a
cherry
great
on
group
top,
of guys.
course.
Well, and like to be honest, Michter's was great, but I think Jim Beam, like the
Was-
experience of tasting
Yeah.
those was
That
pretty
was a
amazing.
highlight.
That was the
Yeah.
first day.
That was my A plus the second
100%.
day. But first we went to Four Roses to the tasting room. The second day we went, before Beam, we
Four
hit
Roses.
Four Roses in Cox Creek, and then we went into the tasting room, did that nice tasting with a very young, eager. He was learning stuff from
Yeah.
us. The tour guide was.
You mean you?
You guys were, and that was fun. I liked
Well,
it.
can we pause on the Four Roses real quick? Because the highlight of Four Roses for me was when the guy in the
Okay.
bus was asking where we're all from,
Oh God.
and we said Arkansas, and the lady goes, "Do you know the Mars family from Fixer to Fabulous?" And then Michael Brewer was like, "But up, right?" And all of a sudden, she thought it was the highlight
Yeah.
of her. We made her week. You guys made her week.
Yeah. The tour ended.
Yeah, that was fun.
Do you remember where they were from?
Indianapolis.
Well, I'm not sure if it Denver, Indiana.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
It could be a suburb. Who knows?
But that was funny.
But they didn't want to drink whiskey. They just wanted to hang out with these two stars here.
They did. They were starstruck.
Who blames them? I do wish we would have maybe had lunch at Jim Beam. I think that was a miss. That would have been. I really liked that property. And tasting the bourbon right out of the barrel.
Well, and the person that took us on the tour, she was good. I thought everything was good about Jim Beam.
Well, before we go to Jim Beam, let's just Four Roses. Because what was cool was we learned about like the OESV. Like we learned about what like that was cool for me. I didn't know the difference. And Russ, maybe again you could share with the audience, but like the different letters and what it signifies. And I had no clue. I just knew like, oh, does anybody want to buy this? And next thing I knew, I'm being taught how to read the OESV and all the different the Four Roses letters.
I was glazed over at that point.
It's a secret code where the distillery is and the yeast strain and so forth. And the great thing about Four Roses that I've always admired about them is they are who they are. They're not doing rye. They're not doing wheat. They're not doing single malt, just like Maker's Mark. Those two guys, those two distilleries, those two legacy distilleries are absolutely doing it right. You know, we didn't have time to get to Makers, and that's why sometimes you almost need a third day. But the secret code is on the website. You can see what's what and signify why.
And then
you get, and of course, I thought the visitor center. Now the visitor center at Michter's for us was great. Some of you guys did the visitor center. I mean, buying spirits at Peerless, but I think everyone grabbed something at Four Roses. I know I came back with 12 bottles. Total on the trip. I bought the high proof bourbon, 119 proof. Their distillery release for that season, and it's I'm waiting. Hey Josh, I'm waiting for a special occasion that might be coming down the road.
I got one for you.
That. It's on the list.
Matt's 50th birthday party. It's coming up.
Yeah,
in like 4 years.
Yeah,
3 more years we can do that.
No, your next venture.
I mean, I did find one of my newest favorite bourbons while we were out there.
Which one?
The Old Granddad 16.
Yeah, hold on, but let's do Jim Beam next.
Yeah.
That was
slow
super
down.
cool.
Slow down a little.
Slow your roll, Bobby. Yeah. So Jim Beam, I was not looking forward to because I'm not.
I wasn't either.
I was like, why are we going here?
Yeah, but
I remember you guys saying that, and I just said, okay, you're going to just be in it for a pleasant surprise.
And that's how it usually works.
Because that tour was amazing.
It was.
What about driving on campus first, though?
The oldest rickhouses in Kentucky, I think they said.
Well, the distillery was founded in 1795.
I just love Russ, you playing with the bunghole.
The Bung Knocker. That's going to be our new band that we're going to create.
The bunghole.
They hit the bung knocker, hit the bunghole, right? That's what it was.
Well,
I'll tell you what.
Russ was supposed to hit on the outside of the bunghole, and he hit the bunghole right in the bunghole.
Good aim. Good aim.
We do have video of Russ. We got to put that in here. Russ swinging in
100%.
Right? That was.
Yeah, I have pictures.
Well, I tell you what, I climbed out on that one. But the great thing about
when were we there?
For me, then before we went to the visitor center, we went to the visitor center. Then we, went out to the warehouse. But Rob, I want you to talk about your new favorite, the pleasant surprise of the OG dad. Talk about your 16-year-old granddad that I think we all bought a bottle of.
It's so overwhelming, right? There's bourbon everywhere. Everyone's saying this is allocated, this is special. You can only buy this here. I mean, unless you really know what you're looking for, it is truly overwhelming. And when that came across for us, and it was a 16-year-old.
The old granddad 16?
The old granddad 16, it was like 16-year-old. How do you not buy it? And it was the first day of the release.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is Matt and I didn't buy it because I talked Matt out of it.
Yeah. But we ended up driving back later that day, 2 minutes before they closed and Matt ran and got a bottle.
We ran it at 4:58.
Yeah.
And we got a bottle.
Yeah. And since then, we've got a few additional bottles here locally.
Yep.
And I think it's one of the best bourbons I've had.
So, for the audience, what's the name Old Granddad signify? And whose picture is on Old Granddad? of the bottle of all their brands. The bottle and bond, the 114 proof, that's Basil Hayden.
Did you know that? I didn't know that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
His grandson started the brand, Old Granddad, in honor of old Basil Hayden.
I think we have to. I think we have to fact check you today on your medicine because.
Good luck.
So for the viewers, here's a picture of Matt and I with our fan fave. All right. And then here's another picture.
Is that the bunghole?
No.
Oh, that's a good one. Show that one.
Yeah, this is a good picture of just Matt in his happy place.
Contemplating life there.
See what else I could find.
Make sure you keep it PG-13 on the photos, huh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, okay, so as you find some of those pictures, remember what I discovered there. And we talked about to the tour guide, who was very sharp, very intelligent. He's been in the business, and you could tell he's well seasoned. And I asked him where their single malts are, if they're doing, and their Claremont Steep. And that was right there when I swung and missed on the bunghole.
I hate
right
when that
behind me
happens.
was their single malts. Yeah, I know. And so I bought a bottle of I bought Old Overholt. They're 11-year-old that you're starting to see in the market. And I bought some of the Claremont Steep American single malt, and I dropped that into tasting, Josh, a couple of weeks ago with Jack in San Antonio, and it was winners.
Did you have Dry Fly in that lineup?
No, it was a single malt only. America single malt versus Scottish single malt.
The Claremont Steep is good.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Yeah, same here.
So after we left there, did we do Heaven Hill next? And then we did Bardstown?
We stopped at Bardstown.
So Bardstown, I you guys were not as big of fans as I was.
Did we go to Bardstown? Remember, what about Lux Row?
Yeah, that was good.
Oh, yeah.
After being
Did Lux Row. That's where you and I sat in the lobby the whole time.
Yeah, we were burnt out.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Yeah.
And that's where the Coyote came across.
Yeah.
Coyote Run. Remember, Matt? The tour guide? That was she was sharp. She was young. She knew her stuff. I couldn't stump her. I didn't try to stump. When on these tour guides, if you ask them, I never asked to stump. I just want to know, as you guys kept saying, and when I knew that she knew her, I go, okay, I'm not going to try to bust her because she's a upcoming superstar in that company.
Well, the over/under a number of questions or comments you had was 19 per each tour, and you typically went over.
Yeah.
Well, that was meant to be.
Yeah, they were like, "Who's this guy?"
And for the viewers, Russ, you highly recommended this place.
Oh, Pat's Steakhouse.
Yeah, that was
amazing.
That was good.
That was a great.
That was a night that you grabbed the decanter off the glass thing and dropped it onto the floor mat when we were leaving. Do you remember that, Matt?
Yeah.
What did I just say? You were in your phone. I'm just trying to ask you if you remember what I just said. What happened?
I'm trying to bring
where you dropped on the floor mat?
No.
When you about broke everything on the antique shelf?
That wasn't me.
You were playing with it all?
That was you. That was a good steak, though. And the guy called, what did the guy call Brewer asshole? What did he call Brewer at dinner all night?
Someone gave him $5 to have their waiter call Brewer an asshole.
But Bardstown was good. Now you're talking about like the old school distilleries versus brand new. It was very different.
Oh yeah,
right? That's the kind of place that you go, like a brand new bar restaurant here in Northwest Arkansas. Bardstown was very cool.
And it looked like that they had a huge location for lunch and all that was going on. Pretty nice bar.
Yeah.
Well, we were lucky. They got out some of the Elijah Craig grenades.
That was at Heaven Hill.
That was Heaven Hill.
But remember Bardstown with the real nice
upstairs.
bar? And what was
place.
cool about Bardstown was you could drink just about anything that didn't have to be Bardstown specific at the bar, that was cool.
Yeah.
But then last was Heaven Hill.
Yeah.
That was cool.
That's where we got the grenades.
That was also we didn't do the tour, so we didn't see the guts and the think tank and the warehouses, but we'd seen enough by then, right? And so you guys were burnt out, but I'm a nerd. I can go in those things all day long, get lost, and be happy. So at Heaven Hill, just all Heaven Hill brands, and again, it's just one of these things when people are out there looking for the allocated stuff from Buffalo Trace, our great friends from Buffalo Trace, they're just looking for everything that you can't find or some other fine distilleries. They forget about Jim Beam, about what we discovered at Beam, right? And then at the end of the trip, what we discovered, what I have in the past at Heaven Hill. And then they just had all Heaven Hill upstairs, but I'm not sure who found the grenade. So they had this really cool Elijah Craig grenade of their barrel proof 125.
Well, so the funny story with that one was, keeping with the theme of the Mars family, they had the little grenades, and they sold the last one out. And so I asked if we can get more, and the guy came over and got more. And then Matt was checking out, and she goes, "Oh my God, I recognize you from that HGTV show." And Matt's like, "Yeah, it's me, Matt Mars. I'm famous." He kind of did that whole spiel.
Those 70-year-olds always recognize Matt.
And then what was the best was, then Matt's like, "Hey, you have any Heaven Hill 18? Right away, he knew. He's like, "All right, she knows me. I'm going to go ask for the good stuff."
She was like, "I like you not that much."
And then she took a picture with you, but we got a grenade. We didn't get a Heaven Hill 18.
Yeah.
But did you get, but they had already sold that Saturday's allocation, and they brought out extra for us.
Yeah.
We were there pretty late.
Well, I think what happened is Rob slept in. We all wanted to get there early, but we were late by the time we got there.
That happened in Bimini too. Like, he's always late to
100%.
I was one of the first ones out there.
Remember, lunch was very long.
Yes.
They were short-staffed, unfortunately. And so we had a 45-minute lunch that turned into 90 minutes. And remember when we went to Lux Row after that, we were late.
Yeah.
But I think if you want the Heaven Hill 18, you have to be there like 6 a.m, right? Like, you have to be there super early for the releases. And we got there at like 4:30 in the afternoon. We're like, "Hey, have any Heaven Hill 18?
Well, we also spent 2.5 hours at that lunch place.
The food was good.
Yeah, I think that was Josh's pick.
Yeah.
No, that's when we couldn't get the driver to sit at our table.
So for me, the bookend for me on Saturday, again, just because I've always been very bullish on Jim Beam, everything in Jim Beam. I've told you guys this for years, and I've loved everything for years because I've represented the brands too at Heaven Hill. There's no dud there, and so people poo-poo old brands. Right? Remember when we're at Jim Beam in the visitor center, and I go, "Oh my God, I haven't seen the rebirth of Old Overholt rye."
Jim Beam was very cool. I'm not a big fan of that brand, but the tour was the best of all of them outside of Michter's. I thought being up in the Rick house, right?
100%.
That was cool, and watching Russ swing the hammer, that whole tour was amazing.
Yeah,
I was pleasantly surprised.
Are you going to put that up on the screen at Gentsgiving next year? Swing and a miss?
Yeah, we may have to do that.
I think just to start off, is this what happens when you're at Jim Beam? But when with our friends from Sazerac, that doesn't happen.
I think what happened was there was so many people there, you got a little nervous, so you thought you were supposed to hit the bung hole instead of the side of it.
All right, so I've done it at Woodford, and I just, if I'm lying, I'm dying. I knocked it. And it popped right up because I hit it in the proper spot.
That's what she said.
I admit it. I'm a klutz.
Russ, there's no proof of the Woodford one. There's only proof of Jim Beam.
Yeah, we don't have pictures.
We don't have
of
any
that,
video.
Or video.
But I have to find. Hey, during my sabbatical,
You're going to have to redeem yourself for us.
During my sabbatical here on recovery, before I go live again in March, I'm going to look for those pictures if they still exist. You give me
The
something to
likelihood of
do.
you finding them is slim, from what I'm hearing.
Do you guys remember
Or not.
this?
Oh, that pizza was good.
That was Saturday night. We were all done. We hung out at the house ordering some pizza.
That's a lot of
good.
pepperoni on that pizza. I wish I had one of those right now.
That
we
was
had
so
that one.
good. Yeah, and the ham.
That one was
Yeah.
really good too.
We ordered 3 for 6 guys, and
Yeah.
we inhaled it.
So, Russ, what would we do?
Remember, I had a piece for the road. Because I took, remember, I was the mule.
Russ, what would we do different from the next trip? If so, how would you? I mean, because we didn't get down to like Sazerac, we didn't get down to a couple of other places, but like, what should we have done that we didn't do?
This is what I would do: is do kind of like in between Lexington and Louisville as kind of a halfway place. Get an Airbnb, whatever it might be, hotel somewhere between these, and then the first day we do Frankfurt, and those 4 distilleries.
One of the 4 in Frankfurt,
right?
Woodford. Who else? Yeah,
Woodford, Wild Turkey, Four Roses, and Buffalo Trace. And this is the guts of the distillery at Four Roses.
that would be a good trip.
And that's one day there, and that's easy.
How far is that from where we stayed?
And that's about 90 minutes.
So we would need a hotel.
But I would suggest staying in between, because then the next day we need to go to places that we didn't get into. Like, again, Maker's Mark.
Maker's is a great one.
Yeah. You said that you love that because you got to do the double dip.
You get to do double dip, and you're watching all the bottles fly down the line. Now, obviously, that's if you're there during the week, which is something good for the viewers, right? So if you're there during the week, there's a good chance if you do a full tour, you're not seeing stuff in production because the distills are shut down for the most part, right? Is that true, Russ?
Correct. Yes, true.
So if you want to see more action, you got to plan accordingly.
But again, it just depends. I mean, could be making a big run for, you just don't know. It's all timing on the weekend.
But there's a better chance if you want to see action, be there during the week.
I mean, we saw some action down in Louisville. We had a good time.
Yeah, you did.
We had a good time.
I got the video teed up for next.
We had a good trip. That was a fun time.
We're going to play the video?
Texas plays. So, guys, Texas plays Kentucky in Lexington. I've got it right here.
We're talking basketball now.
Now we're talking next November. Football. So I've got my fraternity brothers from UT that want me to book flying on Wednesday and do Thursday, Friday tour before the game on Saturday.
We're going.
Does that sound like a second annual?
October 18th.
That's getting too close to Gents Giving because I got to have these guys focused. You get them.
Yeah, I'm out on that too because we're going to be in Florida.
Well, I would.
I'll probably make it. Just me.
You're going to be in Florida.
Well, here's an idea for the next one. Is again we hit it. We hit it right. Unfortunately, the rain and the hurricane and so forth. And then we had that big festival, that live music festival. Don't go that time of year. You can't get in anywhere Kentucky Derby weekend, the first Saturday in May. I would go in April. I've been there in April. Again, I've been there in that region 10 times. And April can be cold, but there's nobody there. And operations are still going on.
April, we go.
April it is?
I'd rather it be a little cooler than hot walking around all those places.
Yeah.
Well, a couple of those guys on that at Lux Road, they had to sit back. One of the guys, because he was hurting for certain.
Me and Bobby had to do a timeout at Lux. We had to sit in the lobby.
Oh, I don't think we were hurting. We were just
you guys did a timeout, but now Bobby's drinking green tea. He may do all of it. I don't know.
And my knee is fine. We may be good.
Yeah. And Russ has a new knee too.
Speaking of the knee, because you had your knee surgery, your ligament, surgery, and you had that frickin' knee brace from ankle to thigh. You know what I have? I have a bandage for the wound area, and then I have an ACE bandage from ankle to thigh.
Well, Russ, you're in a different age group. At Josh's age group, they have to make him feel better with a bigger race.
Oh, it's self-esteem issues, I see.
Yeah.
You know what they say about the guys with the bigger berries, Russ? They got bigger knees.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
That's right.
Just don't put no weight on it.
We've been drinking the dry fly, yeah.
All right, so you asked me to critique the trip, I think, in a roundabout way.
Rob was the best guess.
I like walking around Louisville. That was great. I think we need to space and make sure we're on time to places. Again, the weather delayed a lot of things. So, and Michter's got a lot of crazy, because remember, our afternoon got delayed because we were set back at Michter's for a while waiting for our great buys that we all purchased. And so I don't think, that was 30 to 45
Well, the problem
minutes.
with the trip for me, Russ, is that Michter's was so good that nothing, and that was the first thing we did, right?
Right, but
Like everything else after Michter's was a letdown because Michter's
Right.
was so good.
But also as well too, not to like we knew they were going to roll out the VIP carpet, so we purposely didn't have anything planned after that.
But here's one thing. Another thing, so we got delayed, right? This is all positive. We got delayed at Michter's
But what did we get delayed for?
because of the great time we were having and so forth. And then we walked to Peerless a mile
Yeah.
away in the rain.
That's because there was a hurricane
Not
above us.
Yeah, I know. I get that. And I'm not bitching because of what happened. But I'm just saying we should have found an
I
Uber or
agree.
a driver.
But the part is like, if the best thing is the first thing, everything else paled in comparison after that. Like it was.
Why do you think I had knee surgery yesterday? Because of that freaking walk in the
he
rain.
slipped a few times.
Well, he's also
I
old.
think is the Fort Nelson release coming out in April?
I'll email them
I'm
again.
not sure.
I'll
Okay.
ask.
Yeah.
They said 1 to 2 years.
No, I'm saying April of 26.
Maybe we could have a release party for all the podcast
Yes,
viewers at Bar
we
Nelson.
can't- We can't get anything up and running
No.
in 3 months. I'm thinking, and again, unless you want to try to do a one-off in October on a non-Kentucky football weekend, we hit and Louisville, we get it right. We could do that. We have plenty of time if you want to do late September, early October.
Can we go visit Dry Fly when we're down there?
Are they even in Kentucky?
They're in Newark, New Jersey.
A shocker. There it is.
Yeah,
There's the problem.
that's up where Josh came from.
All right, Russ, well, get yourself feeling better. We miss you. It's not the same.
Yeah,
And again, 100% non-stumped again today. The streak is running into 2025.
All right, well, feel better. When are
will.
you going to be up and around again?
And-
How long?
So I see my the orthopedics PA. I see her 2 weeks from today, and then I'll have a guidepost to where I'm going. Again, I'm doing all my PT. I've got ice on right now. Those nice ice machines they send you
yeah.
home with. So I'm following all the regimen. Just I'm living in a cave right now, which is good. I just need to recover and rest.
If
When
Matt,
you're ready, let's do a Bar Nelson night. When you're ready.
if Matt wanted to pop over and drop off some Dry Fly, do you want to give him your address offline and just make sure that he has something for you?
Not over the air. Not
No,
over the
offline.
air.
Yeah, we want him to pop on by and
Yeah.
drop off some Dry Fly for you. As
Matt's got a bow for you.
Yeah. One of you guys came by my house, came by the house and picked up that beautiful, yeah, you came by. So, speaking of that, that was fun when we left that morning because you guys had to fly out. And I had, let's just say, several $1,000s worth of brown liquid in the car. And I had to go through Kentucky, southern Indiana, southern Illinois, and then through St. Louis, and then back down. It was a beautiful drive.
We thought there was a chance you'd go through Mexico and we'd never see you again with all of our liquor, quite honestly.
Well, that because again, I had some gold with me in the back.
well, we appreciate you doing that.
Well, we'll do it. I'll do that again. Yeah.
Matt, would you have done that for everybody else?
I would. I actually like to drive. It's fun.
Actually, we could mule it on your plane.
Yeah, we could do that too.
That would be even better.
Might have pushed the weight limit.
Yeah.
There was a lot of bottles.
A lot of bottles.
Yeah, a lot of weight in there.
Yeah.
I'm going to text my buddy in Texas who works for Beam that I hired in the business and ask him, hey, what cool things are coming down the pipeline now? Because now people are going to be looking for the new cool stuff from Beam that they've rebirthed. And that's what's the great thing about this, is that new discovery that we had. I talk about this all the time. Legacy and new discovery. We all had new discovery. Because I brought back 12 bottles. And I'm not sure how many you guys all brought back. But I think in total we had about 60 bottles.
I think I brought back 6.
I think Brewer had like 30 bottles himself.
I had 6.
He bought a ton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He bought a
But
ton.
I think he was buying for other people as well, though.
Yeah.
And you bought for other people as
Yeah,
well.
I bought a bunch of Peerless for other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Because you're a giver.
Did
know
you
what?
get one of those bottles, Matt? That he bought for?
He didn't like the Peerless.
No,
No, Matt didn't like that one.
I didn't get anything.
Happens.
Well, my son-in-law represents it up here in the distributor world, and I'm going to start popping that into some of my local events. Not just because it's my son-in-law, it's just because, again, I've told you, I'll always tell you, if I don't believe in the brand and I have a relationship or connection, it doesn't go in
But
my
it does
lineup.
feel like because it's your brother-in-law or son-in-law, whichever one you said, it does feel like that's why you're going to take care of them. Let's be clear.
No, that's the double secret probation.
Whoa.
All right, Russ, feel better. Matt will drop by with some dry fly, make you
Yep.
feel better.
Feel better.
Be good. See him.
Take care, Russ.